Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 764 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I am your host, Christian Piles, joined today just Ben Funky Askren, just me and the Funky one-on-one in the octagon of FRL. And It's going to be a fun one because the brackets are out. We've talked about them for a while, off-discussed, and now they're here, and it's a great day. And Ben, I'm curious for your thoughts. I obviously have many, but I want yours.
Well, hey, my first thought is when I was driving yesterday, I was going to practice listening to you guys, and you said oft. And I was thinking, like, did everyone just decide it was too much to say oft in? And then they're like, let's just cut this thing out, the en, and then now it's oft. Like, where'd they come up with that word?
I don't know. I would like to think oft was first, and then
you think so?
I don't know. It sounds like an older word, you know.
It does sound like an older word, something they say in Old English, like oft.
Yes. See, there you go. And that was talking brackets with Ben Askren.
Yeah, I mean, I think 174 is the worst. So let's start there.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell they're doing here.
Start with the worst. Okay. I have some beefs here as well. I'm curious for yours. We'll see where we align.
So, I kind of like it because Mako at 11 got about the best 6 he could because he was beating Plot. I think somehow they justified Plot beating O'Malley because O'Malley's way high at 8, and Plot's highest win is O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they moved O'Malley up to justify Plot moving up. But, you know, in reality, I don't really have a problem with Makai at 2, Massa at 3. That's fine. I could have seen those being flipped because Massa's only losses are Staraki. Highly at 4, that's fine. Kemmer at 5, okay. Kind of thought now this is where it gets wacky. I don't know how you get Plot to 6. Plot didn't beat nobody, not a person. Michael O'Malley. I don't know how you got O'Malley to 8. He also didn't beat anybody. So somehow you got him to 8, and you moved Ethan Smith to 7 and Labriola. I know you hate Labriola at the 9, but if you just move Plot and O'Malley down, then Smith goes to the 6 and Labs goes to the 7, and that's fine, you know, like not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. I think one thing you're gonna notice with these seeds is if you accumulate a decent number of quality wins, which quality is like sort of debatable, but you know, qualifier-ish type of guys, you get a lot of credit. So if you accumulate a lot of those and you don't take a lot of losses,
but some guys
Plot
didn't.
Plot's
Plot didn't. Who are his wins in the field?
In the field he beat. Okay, he beat. I'll tell you. He beat Peyton Mako, Dennis Robin. He beat Lance Runyon, who beat him. He beat Anthony Mantanona. He beat Cade DeVos. I think Joel Devine. He beat Hayden
but like
Hastings,
the highest,
Anthony Mantanona. But listen, Ben. The accumulation. It's the accumulation. Anthony Mantanona again. Michael O'Malley. And I don't know if
O'Malley's is highest. O'Malley's is highest, and O'Malley's too high. And Mako, you know, like if Mako went down to the 13, like that's kind of fair, you know. And so I guess Mako's beat DeVos, so you can't move him any lower than that. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was, I moved Plot down to like the 9.
Well, I do think Plot's high. I do think O'Malley's high because But that's just my own personal preference of how I view measuring and comparing elite wrestlers. It's like you have to me, having elite wins is more impressive than accumulating a lot of ranked wins that are from guys behind you. If you don't beat anyone in front of you, I just have a hard time. with that. But for me, the most egregious thing, I mean, the Labriola at the 9 is just saying you should forfeit. You should forfeit. Mike Labriola should have forfeited to Ethan Smith. He should not have taken that match. I mean, and I don't agree with that. I don't think it's. But if you want to,
same thing with Karchla also. Then,
how so with Karchla?
Well, because he's probably at the 4-5 if he doesn't wrestle Hamidi.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
It probably is.
But it's worse with Labriola because he already had the win over Ethan Smith, and then he lost to him, and he did not get an opportunity to And then Michael Kimmer enacted the freeze resume button, which if Mike Labriola hits the freeze resume button before the Ethan Smith match, I doubt he's not going to be the 9, and he's probably not behind Ethan Smith, and he's not looking at a quarterfinal match with the national champ.
Obviously, then, because now Lab's got the win over. He's got a lot of good wins. Lout, O'Reilly, Smith. But essentially, Michael Kimmer bumped up over Labs by forfeiting to him at Nationals. Or sorry, in the Conti semis. I don't want to say Nationals.
Yeah, he's 9-2. Kimmer's 9-2. That's one thing I don't understand. And so I think there's part of me, I'm okay with it because I know where about Kimmer is, but for Labriola, I just think it's wrong. I think they messed that up. I think Plot's way too high. Plot lost to Runyon this year. He lost to the Missouri backup. I forget his name.
Sean Harmon.
But I think, the losses thing is sort of it doesn't matter. I think there's just a lot of it's hard to see 33 guys and put them in the right order, but there's a common sense clause that's missing in all of this.
I don't think this one's that hard. Honestly, because once you get to the say past 13, it's kind of mix them up a little bit to a certain extent. Don't put them all down and say 29, but you can mix them up a little bit. But when you have someone like Labriola, who should probably be, I'll move Smith to the 6, him to the 7, and then I really don't think anyone complains that much after that if you do those two things.
Yes, I think if you base it on exactly. Labriola beat Kimmer, who beat Plot. Sometimes they make it that simple, and you can kind of see, oh, he's ahead of this guy. Like with Plot and O'Malley, oh, he's ahead of him because of the head-to-head. But in certain scenarios, it's kind of thrown out. So
O'Malley has almost no good wins. So he's another one where I'm I don't know how he got to 8. I'll look up his resume real fast again. But I did last night. And I'm like, dude, how did he get to the 8? I have no idea. So I will tell you. I think they rewarded conference champ really heavily, Christian.
They like it. They like it a lot.
So he has a loss to Fine Silver. He has the loss to Plot. He beat the In Contrera twice. And then his other win was Foca, but injury default, so they don't count those,
Nope.
He beat In Contrera 3 times, actually. But besides that, who did he beat? And In Contrera is
17.
17. That's not really a high win. How do you justify an 8?
Because they're saying the accumulation of quality wins is.
But that's it.
Paramount.
He has 3. It's the same guy.
Conference, he's got. I don't. It's not right. It makes no sense.
Jake Logan qualified, right? Jake Logan did not qualify.
I don't see no Jake Logan on here.
I don't think Jake Logan qualified. So those I think you could bump O'Malley way past Cade DeVos or he lost to Fine Silver, so you could easily bump him past Fine Silver. I think they really rewarded being a conference champ, but I could be wrong there.
Yeah, well, which is a flawed thing because not all conferences couldn't be less equal. Right,
and it can't overwhelm what you did all season because the season needs to matter too.
Correct. So 74, I think, was a mess. I think probably the worst in terms of rewarding.
Well, so another one where they rewarded the conference champ, and it just so happened to be Oklahoma State. And I looked through the resume, and I'm like, I don't know how they got here. G. Feller at the 9. I was like, how'd they get here? Because when I looked through his resume, Yaya at 19's got way better wins than he does, and Donian's got better wins than he does. I don't know how Lovett's got better wins than he does. I don't know how they got G. Feller to the 9.
So G at the 9. I'm not sure either. What's his best win?
I will read through it real quick. So he's got the McDougal. He got Real Budo. McDougal again. He lost to Murin.
Beat
Edmund. Deegan. Real Budo, but these guys aren't super high ranked.
But what is it? You know what
Demas.
it is.
Demas ain't wrestling. He lost to Abbas.
Lacus.
Lacus ain't high.
I know. He beat Abbott. It's the accumulation.
But when you can't, but But I know you agree with me because we kind of think the same way and stuff. Like, if you could beat 57 guys ranked 20 through 33, that doesn't mean you're 9. That means you're freaking 19. That means you're 19. Then you got to beat some other dudes.
Yes, it's very obvious, but they look at it a different way. 33 obviously stands out. I mean, we invented an island, DeSanto Island, and we know where he is. We know he's the third best guy.
Island.
This is where you need to enact a common sense clause. Even though
how do they justify this?
How do they justify it? I don't know, because here's one of the huge flaws in it. It is better to lose to someone who is absolutely a non-factor, non-qualifier bad wrestler than it is to lose to someone in your strata. It is more heavily punished. It doesn't matter that Mikhail McGee lost to a non-NCAA qualifier.
Who was it?
Job Greenwood. He lost to a non-qualifier. Okay, the guy's not in the field. He went 0-2 at his conference tournament. That did not impact McGee's seed at all. He got the 3 because he beat Ragusin. He's accumulated a high number of ranked wins, and that bumps him.
Who's the next guy besides Ragusin he beat?
I don't think he beat Bird. I'm looking it up now.
Connor Brown, Devin Turner. He beat Philippi. Philippi's kind of high. He beat Ragusin, Madrigal, Hudkin.
All behind. They're all behind. Those guys are all behind. I'm not saying he should be the 10.
It's not a great resume. No, you're saying he should be the 5.
Okay, here's who he should be behind. He should be behind RBY and Dayton and Austin DeSanto. Now,
for sure.
Corbin Myers, that should be the 4-5. McGee and Myers should be the 4-5, and Austin is the 3. I think that is kind of clear at this point. But they didn't do that. But for Austin in Iowa has some really interesting opportunities because they are going to have potentially Penn State in a few big semis, potentially.
Yeah.
Austin should have Roman in the semis. Michael Kimmer could have
Carter
Starace. He's never lost to Hayden Hidley, going back forever and always. So you have an opportunity to beat someone you've beaten before and send a Penn State national champion to consolations. So that's a huge opportunity. Are they long shots? Based on this season, I would say yes. But if they do it, if I was going to find the way in the team title, guys like Austin and guys like Michael are going to need to get those kinds of wins. So in some ways, the draw for Austin can be more beneficial because who do you think, we talked about this yesterday who do we think Austin has a better chance of beating, Roman or Dayton?
Neither.
There's someone he is more likely to beat, and I think it's Roman.
No, it's neither. What if they're both 0? Then it's
0? Now, come on, Ben. This is where you sound ridiculous. 0?
How?
He's literally beaten Roman Bravo Young twice.
Yeah, like 4 years ago.
Not 4 years ago.
How long? It's been a really long time.
And since that time, what? He's beaten by 1.4. You know what, Ben?
He might beat him by 1 point every single time. They wrestle 100 times. It might be 100 times in a row.
It might not, though.
He hasn't got a takedown in 6 matches, Christian. Not a takedown. He can't ride. How's he going to beat him?
He could get a stall call or he could take him down.
We need Johnny Quickstall if we want to get DeSanto a win.
If we want to get him to
we need to hire. We can hire the specific. We can hire the specific referee we need. Johnny Quickstall. Boom. RBY backs up first step. Boom. Hit him right away.
Hit him with the Quickstall. We need that guy. So I mean, listen. I think you're being overly dismissive.
I think it's really small. Really, really, really small. Let's see. Okay, when's the last time he beat DeSanto?
2019.
2019. Okay, it is literally 3 years ago, though.
Yeah, you said 4.
Okay, I was a year off, but dang, he also smashed Austin Gomez in the wrestlebacks there. Wow,
yeah, he's kind of good.
Wild, kind of good.
Okay, so that 33 is a
33. No,
they did it wrong. It's wrong. You can't. I mean, you're wrong. You know you're wrong. To quote Kamal Bey, that's not how you seed this weight.
Is Philippi going to pose any issues for Austin DeSanto? Because Philippi is a 12, but I think he was a 4 1 year. He does have a win over Dayton Fix, and he's really tough on top.
That's the Philippi win over Dayton Fix is our Caleb Young over Ryan Deacon.
Twice.
Yeah, twice, same tournament. So they've wrestled, and they wrestled NCAAs, and DeSanto majored him 13-5.
Yeah, so. DeSanto actually his resume actually is not that great this year.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
So he's got a Shriver win, a bunch of D3 wins, Atasayev, which is in the mid-20s somewhere, Oreen, who's not high, Berwick, who I think is a 32 or something, and then that's so conference is where he got all his wins. He beat Bird and Cannon both, who are I think the 7 and the 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but he's at the 5, so that one definitely stuck out for. As we bounce around here, Drew Hildebrand.
Let's go to 25.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Good.
Drew Hildebrand at the
16.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. They got him. Then Noto, I didn't realize Noto's 29-1.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who he beat. That's a pretty damn good record at the Division I level.
It is. And that's a lot of matches as well. This is not a gimme for Drew for obvious reasons. The guy's been good, and Drew didn't look great at Big Tens. The draw's not great for Drew because if you win, you're getting sent back down to the wrestlebacks against Soriano. But I looked at his path back, so assuming he beats Noto and loses at 181, he's going to get the loser at 182, which is going to be a combination of McKee or Schroeder in the second round wrestleback. So if Schroeder beats Latona and McKee beats Caleb Smith, the loser of that match.
Or it could be Latona, too. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see. It is the first match off the scale, but Latona's been starting to look better, so like the Schroeder match is not unwinnable for him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So he's going to have some combination of Schroeder, Latona, or McKee in his wrestlebacks early for Drew if he loses to Soriano.
Oh, yes.
It's interesting if he loses to Noto, okay, so then loser of 12 gets loser of 11, which is the pigtail. So he's going to win that one. And then loser of 188, which is going to be Teskey or Certain, because that Vito's going to beat one of those guys.
He's beat one of them.
So
Teskey and Certain feels like a tough first round match too, but like I think that's probably relatively where they should be seated. I kind of thought Mastro got bumped up a little bit higher than I thought he would be.
Mastro had a very good Big 12s, and they rewarded him for it. Yes, and that was third place at a deep weight. So I think that's probably fine. Now let's look at Drake's. So Drake's gonna have Gutierrez round 1. Okay,
it's kind of a tough matchup.
You think so? Why do you think so?
Gutierrez wrestles hard and he's pretty tough. And if Drake's not all the way healthy, that's not like a gimme.
Okay.
I guess kind of the way I feel about 125 right now is that there's not a huge separation. Like it goes kind of like I look at Taylor Lamont at 21, like he's pretty tough. Sam Latona at 24, he's pretty damn tough, you know? And so like in some of these brackets, like if the 24 beat the 9, I'd be like, come on, dude, that ain't happening. But in this bracket, like if you told me Sam Latona went all the way back to an All-American spot, I believe you. You know, Joey Prada at 19, Shavra at 23, Tarquini at 20. You know, see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of guys who are low who are like, man, if any of those dudes I mentioned made a deep run, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I see it.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. So
a parody.
Assuming a Drake win and then a loss to Courtney, he's looking at like a combination of Taylor Lamont or Malik Heinzelman in an early wrestleback. Malik beat him this year. Lamont is always pretty dangerous. So that's tough. And then if he loses, he'll eventually get the loser 344 that quarter, which will be the Vito, Mastro, or D'Agostino loser. So whoever Vito beats in that quarter, probably Mastro or D'Agostino.
But then even though like when you move up here, Christian, so you know you said like Drake at 13, I could envision him losing some of these low rank guys, but it's like he just went to the buzzer with Barnett, you know, and then Mastro had to come from behind to beat his backup. So it's like I could see him losing some lower ranked dudes, but I could also see him beating the 6 or 7 like they were right there.
Yeah, so I think he has a winnable path to a navigable path to All-American status for sure. But now, you get one crazy upset. If Killian Cardinale somehow drops his match to Lamont or Heinzelman, then he's going to have someone like that early in the WrestleBacks. But I mean, I don't think that's likely, but those are the things that do happen at NCAAs. So 13 is not bad, all things considered, for Drake, in my opinion.
There's a lot of places to go there that, and there's probably gonna be a lot of upsets. So it's kind of hard to fully guess the path.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that. So we talked about 33.
41.
Let's go to 41. Where
Miocic Hart first round was one that, but then you look at it, you're like, yeah, that's probably about where they should be right there.
Yeah, 10-6 is tough to get a very high seed, and I don't know if it's a good early, because you knew Miocic was going to get a bad seed, right? So is Hart a good matchup? Because Hart, okay, on the one hand, I think he's tough on top, and Stefan's having a hard time getting off the bottom. But on the other hand, Stefan's going to make his money on his feet, and I think that's a vulnerability at times for Hart.
Yeah.
So if he makes it, he's going to probably need 2 takedowns against Alan Hart, which are tough to come by. But if he can get them, he can maybe make that match interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think this way at least they got the first 7 for sure. I think Willits and Hart make sense at the 8-9. It's none of those weights where there's a lot of parity. So when you look at say Parker Phileas' first round at the 13-20, those guys are both tough. Red and Dresden Simon at the 14 and 19. You're like, damn, really? How'd they match up first round?
So a week ago, that would have been unthinkable. That's a 2 top 10 seeds in all likelihood.
Yeah, a week ago, those would have been like, say, the 7 and the 10 or something to that effect.
Right. I felt looking at 141, which is what's confusing about it, is like I thought, mostly right here. I thought it made a lot of sense, but
yeah. But it does still feel weird.
It does still feel a little weird with some of these guys. But I think they did a good job with 41. 49.
Sorry, one last question here, because I think this one is pretty simple. Do you think Red Simon posed any threat for Seabass round 2? Because say you're Seabass, I think, say like a Dragon Mueller's a 21, right? Which is kind of close to, wouldn't you rather see one of those 2 second round than Red or Simon?
Yeah. Obviously, for sure. Yeah. And that is a weird thing. But, man, Rivera, I'm yet to see a match where I don't think he looks amazing this whole year.
Yeah. Even at conference, he forfeited out, but he looked good before that.
He was killing. So I feel pretty confident he's going to – I like his draw to the semis, but with little issue there for him. And I think similarly I think Jaden's got a nice draw. It's tough that he could have – Ryan Jack in the second round because he gave him kind of a nightmare match. Yeah. But I feel like that was like a turning point match for Jaden too, because he almost lost to Dresden Simon, he almost lost to Ryan Jack, and then he kind of regained his form after that. So I'm not sure, but now he's obviously injured. So how much is that going to hinder him? We'll see.
Well, right. So what do you think about 49? Heil's only loss is to Milner. He doesn't have a lot of matches, right? And Milner only has 1 loss, which is a defensive fall to Parco. And he has more solid wins, I guess you'd say. Not a ton still because of where he wrestles. But I feel like, obviously, you could have maybe made the argument to slide those guys up, maybe above. I guess Parco had a good year too, so maybe you can't.
Well, Parco beats Milner. That kind of sets
Parco's
that.
One loss? Who's Parco's one loss?
You know who he lost to?
Oh God! Move his ass down.
The GOAT.
Oh God.
Bowden.
Yeah.
So Bo Bartlett beat Parco, which
Bo Bartlett's win is Parco.
Bartlett Colin Real Buto is an interesting first round match. for sure.
Definitely winnable for Colin, but I mean, yeah, I don't want to say coin flip, but that match is competitive.
Man, I didn't realize Bryce Andonia only has 11 matches this year.
It's not a lot, but he has some in those 11 matches. He's got some good wins.
Yes, yeah, that's why he's as
got,
high as 11.
Yeah, so he's got a fine silver win, a Sherman win, a fine silver win, Edmund Realbuto, Madrigal. So he's got a Sasso and 2 Tariq losses. I mean, that's
I think if you look at Andonian's draw, you probably sign up for it, right? You got Brignola in round 1, then you have Milner in round 2. Milner's tough, but
Milner's tough. He's really tough.
Yeah,
and I think he might be disciplined enough to stay on the leg attacks and not play Andonian's game. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. The interesting thing here is Sammy the 4. Now, I'm not saying they seeded it wrong. I'm saying if Sammy forfeits in the Big Ten Finals, he's opposite Yanni Diakomahalis. That's basically a fact. And don't think that coaches aren't noticing this. And all they want to do is, they want to set themselves up right. And you're going to see it more and more unless they do something to mitigate it, unless they get out in front of it, unless they show – they're not out in front of it, actually. They will be 100% behind the trend already. But they got to start to reel it in because there's just too many cases where it's demonstrated if you had forfeited, you would be in a better spot than if you had wrestled.
Yes.
And that's what happened with Sammy.
Listen, I think I really think that the forfeits counting as losses will solve quite a few issues.
Yeah, I think it has to happen. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, say it out loud. It is better. Loud. It is better.
Say it loud and say it proud.
It is better to lose by quitting a competition. It is better to lose by quitting and refusing to take the mat than it is to take the mat and lose by 1. It is better to quit.
The obvious refutation of that is that people really get hurt. And let's say Carter Starocki got actually injured, and he wasn't able to finish the tournament. Let's just say it's Midlands or somewhere earlier, and he's not able to finish the tournament, and he goes semi-slide, loss. Are you actually going to count those 3 losses against him? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that would be the obvious. But yes, I mean, listen, I think I'm willing to take that risk at this point.
At this point, I think you look at it. And no one's saying you don't get to qualify. No one's saying you can't wrestle in the tournament, but it needs to count.
Maybe in that scenario, if with Carter Starocki, he's got enough highly ranked wins that he still goes number 1. Like if there's a number 1 like that he still goes number 1 because he's got enough other really good wins.
Right. If okay, well, think about this. On the one hand, I'm with you, Ben. Like, I see the problem where if a guy gets legitimately injured and has to forfeit out of something, then they don't get the whatever. But think about in team sports, if you're playing the number 1 team in America and their best players out and you beat them, when the rankings come out, they don't get penalized because Chris Webber didn't play for Michigan that day.
Yes.
That's the last college basketball
Weber?
game I watched.
Isn't he like
he's like been
old
retired
now?
from the NBA for probably 15 years, and I'm referencing his college career. That was the first name that came to mind. So I think for in other sports you have this example, and the guys aren't penalized. And I know it's team sport versus individual. Just food for thought. 57.
Okay.
They
so
hate Brady Berge.
Hold on, are we going to enact that clause?
Which clause? I'm enacting it.
Forfeits count as losses. Let's just tell them
it's enacted. Yeah, it's enacted.
It's enacted.
Okay,
for next year. Done deal.
That's it. They got to do something.
Berge is 16. So he finished 4th at conference, right? Yes.
Yes.
Luan made the finals. He lost to Caleb Young 3rd.
No. He definitely beat Caleb Young twice, dude. He did not get.
What am I thinking here?
I don't know. You're thinking wrongly.
He beat Caleb Young in the quarters, and they beat him for 3rd. And they still put him that low?
Yes. So on the one hand, you've got these one semester guys are playing a dangerous game because if you only wrestle 11 matches, weird things can happen. But you got 2 head-to-heads over the 9 and you're 16? I don't understand it. And when your losses are to the number 1 seed at one or number 3 seed at 165, so that doesn't even count. The 65 matches don't count. His only other loss is to number 8, Will Luan. So
Damn, I forgot he's got a win over Camamine. I forgot that one.
Yeah, it doesn't count because it doesn't count for anything. And this is where the common sense clause needs to kick in. It's like, okay, yeah, he's a little hamstrung because he hasn't wrestled many matches, but we know what Caleb Young is. Caleb Young's been in the streets. He beat him twice, including at the conference tournament, where he placed third. You can't tell me conference performance really, really matters, and then you get third in a tough conference.
It feels like conference placement matters in a lot of these other matches or brackets.
Yes.
Weird.
I didn't understand that. It doesn't make sense, and it is a unlike the Hildebrandt one. I need to re-look at his path.
Yeah. So, Someone paid off Penn State because they put Hildebrandt and Berge at 16. They don't want him on the front side.
So think about this.
That's not good.
So I think Berge can beat Willits. And
tough match.
Let's assume he loses to Carr at 213. So you lose at 213, you're gonna get the 89-90. So that's gonna be winnable. It's probably be like White Sheets, Andrew Cerniglia, Johnny Lovett. That's winnable. But the loser 214 is Caleb Young, Will Luan. So what does that mean? A combination of Young, Luan, or Berge. One's basically guaranteed to not play.
That means we got high drama in the wrestlebacks real fast.
High drama. Now let's see. Hypothetically, if Berge loses to Willits in round 1, it's hard to anticipate him wrestling back.
Yeah, or Young or Luan could also lose first round, which would set up a different matchup down there also.
Of course, we're kind of like we're kind of projecting out chalk and seeing the chaos that could potentially ensue.
It's likely, but yes, the way we first brought it up is more likely.
Right. So Berge is really hammered because none of these guys are getting by a car. And Will Luan and Caleb Young, they can at least advance another round. Now, the Young Luan winner, 357. So then you see where they drop in. That'll drop in and get the loser 218 and 217. So they're looking in a round of 12 match, probably like Jared Franek, right? So that's probably a tough match, but a winnable match.
218 loser, right? Which would, obviously, if it goes to chalk, it's going to be Austin O'Connor. So you got Franek's 6, O'Connor's 11. That match could go either way, honestly. Yeah,
for sure.
And 217 is likely going to be. Kendall Coleman could absolutely beat Jake Keating. He could lose to Jake Keating too. Kind of go either way.
Loser of 217. Yeah, loser of 217 probably going to be Jake Keating or Kendall Coleman. Loser of 218. Probably so that's just a lot more navigable.
Castro's not bad too. Casto
from Citadel. He's a tough guy.
He's tough. And if O'Connor's really hurt, which he did not, he was kind of looking like really hurt in the finals of the ACC.
But at the same time, as good as Ed Scott's been, and as hobbled as O'Connor looked, that was a 1 takedown match. I think maybe he got another one late, but
I feel like it was one more late. But
I think there was one more late, like kind of garbage time takedown. But he wasn't that far out of it.
The other thing you guys brought up yesterday, just I guess we'll probably get to is the score. You guys said the score was getting closer on the Griffith Wick, and it was like he kind of gave up a dumb reversal super late in the second period, and then he was winning by 3 at the end, and he gave up kind of like, hey, I'm going to give up this takedown type of thing, So it was like the score is maybe not totally reflective of what the match was.
That happens sometimes, but I just think. You got to beat a really good guy 3 times. You got to beat a national champion 3 times.
They got Ed Scott's record wrong on the bracket. They have him listed at 22-1, but he has 2 losses.
What's the other loss?
He has AJ Kovacs, which is his teammate, who's not even a starter.
They probably didn't count that.
Why not?
I think because remember the dresser clause. They take out the matches against teammates can't count for anything. Remember
what?
Remember, okay, you know this. Remember the Last Chance Open where Coach Dresser had his guys wrestle each other so they could get more D1 wins. They said, teammate doesn't count.
They don't go on the record. Like, I thought they just didn't consider them as part of the seeding criteria.
Well, yeah, it is sort of weird that's not on the record. This is one of your little OCD things, I think, Ben. I mean, it doesn't count.
It says 22-1. I see 2 losses. It should be on the freaking record.
Yeah. Well, like Bernie Truax, they're treating it like Bernie Truax's loss to Mark Hall.
That's a post grad. That's different.
Yeah. This is a pre-grad.
Pre-grad, yeah. If he's a college competitor, it should be on the record.
Okay. So,
all right, no other issues.
No other issues, Your Honor. I'm just taking a quick glance here. Yeah, not a ton else. This was okay, except for the Berge thing is brutal.
So where would you put him? Would you move Caleb Young down further, or would you put him at I could see you putting him in place like say Jacob Wright at 12 or maybe 13, Justin Thomas. Or
Caleb, I don't know, man, because Caleb's losses, he's got some of them are fine, like Carr and Monday, but he has quite a few. Got lost to Ed Scott. Where did Humphreys get seated? He got the 7.
7.
He lost to Brayton, who sort of probably doesn't count. Lost to Berge twice. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I'm not sure.
Maybe, so then you're not really mad if you go Berge 9 and then bump Caleb Young down to 10 and then just move everyone else down a rung.
I am
Caleb
okay
Young
with
beat
that.
Rob twice, right?
Yes, and that's how they set that table. Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's like, okay, Young gets the benefit. It's obvious what they did there. It's like, okay, Young beat Rob, so he's ahead of him. So you can see how head-to-head sets the table, but sometimes they just completely ignore it, like in the case for Brady.
Yeah.
Coach of the year. Okay.
Strange.
It is strange. 65. This was basically, I think, spot on and what we basically expected too.
Yeah, I don't see an issue. I like that you guys had Peyton Hall a little lower. I like that they moved him up to the 9. Because I think the 12, 13 will be way too low for him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like where it's at.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good, and a Hamidi Griffith quarter should
be fun.
That's got to be one of the best quarters there's going to be. I don't know if it's it's not going to be maybe the most important quarter for like team race and stuff, but for entertainment and style clash and just a true measuring stick for Hamidi. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Karchla.
Yeah, that should be a fun one.
So Karchla versus Keegan going to be a quarter in all likelihood. Now Karchla's got to stay woke on Jake Wenzel. That second round match for Karchla because
they had a tough match already, right? They definitely wrestled. I thought it was close. I'll look.
Okay, I'll look faster.
They definitely wrestled.
Yeah, he beat him 4-3.
4-3. No. All right, so it's close.
So that's given Karchla's struggles underneath, that's a notable match there for him. And then Keegan would have an opportunity against the guy who beat him last year at NCAAs, Wenzel, or Karchla. Mm-hmm. So either way, it's not for the 2 seed a pretty tough quarterfinal match, really, from a stylistic standpoint.
It's one that goes deep, so you're going to have to wrestle someone pretty good in the quarters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, contrast that with Canigliaro or Hall will be the Wick quarter.
Hall's kind of good, and obviously haven't got the 1, and so he 8-9 is going to be a little worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe it's closer.
Yeah.
I'm thinking just style-wise. Style matchup for Keegan.
Yeah.
Here, I'll say this right now. If you're Brian Smith and you could just pick and you could say you can be a Marinelli spot. No. If you be a Marinelli spot or Keegan spot, you would take Marinelli's spot in a heartbeat. You're gonna have Barnes.
But just beat Karchla.
I know that. But
I don't know. I don't see, honestly, I would say Marinelli's probably a little, I agree, a little easier. I don't see it being a gigantic difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just still view Karchla as a bigger threat for whatever reason. And I view the idea of Wenzel, if Wenzel's right, so if Keegan sees Wenzel, that means he beat Carson Karchla, which means he's wrestling really well. Whereas, and that's someone who has beaten Keegan. Whereas Alex Marinelli, Cam Amin, I don't know. I just think that's a better matchup for Keegan. I think Keegan matches up better with Cam.
Okay. I mean, so he did have a close. So, I mean, Keegan only has one loss. So it's only one guy in the bracket that's beat him. And he had a relatively close match with Cam Amin. It was I think it was second round because Amin beat Monday first round last year of NCAAs. And the second round match I think I want to say 4-3, but let me look real quick. 5-2. So it was a tough match.
Yeah.
And
anyway, I think it's a great draw. I think honestly, it's a great draw for Marinelli when you think about it from the Iowa perspective. Even though, I mean, at the same time, you could be, if you're Michigan, you're saying, listen, if we get to Bull, so very close match last time, takedown away.
No takedowns. No takedowns.
No takedowns in the match. If you can get one, you could be in the match. But for Marinelli, I think style matchup wise, you avoid Griffith, you avoid Wick, you avoid Hamidi for the third time. I think it's a reasonable draw to the semi, and then Keegan will see.
Yeah.
Okay, then we've got 74. We've lamented 74 and the Labriola Kimmer, so we can skip there. I already mentioned the Starachi Kimmer opportunity is huge for Iowa if they can capitalize on it. But if they can't, then they don't. 84. Aaron Brooks should have forfeited to Miles Amin. He'd be the 1 seed. Sorry to say it.
I mean, those top 4 are all really, really tough. I was hoping Parker would somehow scoot to the 3, but I kind of knew it was unlikely because I think Truex at 5 is way tougher than Munoz at 6, but Romero at 7 is also pretty damn tough.
For Keckeisen, who do you think he matches up better with, Miles or Aaron Brooks?
Probably Miles because he's not quite as stingy defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I mean, listen, they're both really good. So all those top 4 are all super impressive.
I guess that was my point. It's like for Parker, it's like, well, it's a semi against Miles or a semi against Brooks if he makes it there. Right, and Bernie Truex will have his say for sure, and some other guys. But I think,
gosh, wait. I totally forgot. Oh, my God. Wait. Truex got decked by Trey Munoz. How did he stay at the 5?
I'm not entirely sure.
I forgot. I totally forgot that. I guess because he beat Munoz 2 other times.
Yeah, so he gets the head-to-head benefit despite the more recent loss.
Who is Munoz? Munoz's other loss is to Britt Wilson. Where did Britt Wilson get thrown in the bracket?
He's 12.
All the way down at 12.
They kind of hate Britt Wilson. I thought he could be a little higher. He's been pretty good this year. He was 6 last year.
Britt Wilson lose to? Britt Wilson lost to Truex, Munoz. So he went 1-1
5
Munoz.
and 6.
Amin, and he lost to Braunagel. That kind of hurts.
Braunagel's the 9. I mean, that's not too bad.
Hurts a lot.
I mean, he's the 9. Braunagel's the 9. And Wilson's the 12. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But hold on. Braunagel he had a good conference tournament, but he did not have a good season. He lost to, he had the win over Britt Wilson, but then he lost to Truex, Poznansky, Assad, Salazar. He has a win over Max Lyon. I guess he beat Taylor Venz. He lost to Weiler. He lost to Assad again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's too high for Braunagel.
I mean, contrast the Braunagel resume with the Berge resume, and just help me understand it. I don't.
Okay, so who would I move up in this bracket then? Let me see, because so Venz. I guess he's got the win over Venz. So maybe you move Britt up.
Yeah,
probably. What about Gavin Kane? Is he? Because
he's beaten Bolin twice.
He beat Bolin twice, but Bolin's not had a good season. Maybe everyone at this weight just stinks. Is that possible?
Well, one guy got bronze in the Olympics.
I mean, past 4.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, can we move? Let's see if we can move. So Gavin Kane, he has a loss to Hidley, a loss to Hidley. He lost to Ethan Smith. Ethan Smith was up. Wait. Oh, Gavin Kane was down a weight.
Mm-hmm.
So at 184, he only has 2 losses to Hidley. He's got a win over Chris Weiler, Caleb Hopkins, Bolin, Harvey. Harvey probably didn't make the tournament, right?
Yeah, I think he's in.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess it's limited. So, yeah.
Kane does feel a little low there at 14.
Feels a little low at 14.
UNC is like landmine central. All their guys got like outside the top 10 seeds. Zach Sherman's a returning All-American in a pigtail. You got a national champion 13. You've got a guy in Kane who's been good all year at 14. Keyshawn Clark was like a top 8, 9, 10-ish guy, and now he's like 15 or so. I think there's someone else. So there could be some upset monsters there.
Maybe there was just destruction at this way, and everyone was losing to everyone here.
You've got this elite top 4, and then I do think there is a lot of parity from 5 on.
Well, so Marcus Coleman, I mean, if he could beat Jeremiah Kent, he'd probably be the 5, honestly.
Truly.
I mean, who lost to Kent Eisen? He lost to Parker. He lost to Parker twice. He lost to Kent twice, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's his only losses, right?
Those are pretty good losses. But the Kent one hurts.
Twice.
2 times. Back to back.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. He lost to Kent, Keckeisen. He's got wins over, I'm going to make his case. He's got wins over Venz, Max Lyon, Tate Samuelson, Darian Roberts, Dakota Gear, Keegan Moore. Probably put him up a little higher.
Yeah, that's a pretty good season.
He's not seeded.
He is not seeded behind anyone that he beat, though.
Okay, what about Romero? Honestly, you could maybe slide Romero up above. I don't know. All right, we'll just leave it. It's good.
We're not going to change these.
We won't change it.
We won't change them. NCAA, you're off the hook for now. We may decide to change them later. 197, we knew... We've been talking about this way, and like we're going to see crazy second-round matches regardless, no matter what. And that's exactly the case. And we're going to see a lot of chaos here at this weight class.
Super deep.
It's the weight of chaos, and it's the Iowas and the Penn States are going to need some chaos here if they want to unseat Penn State, if they want to avoid a Max Dean championship. But Dean's set up. I mean, he's the rightful 1 seed. His draw, I think, is pretty solid. Norfleet, he already dominated this year. And then he's looking at Caffey or Dupre in his quarter. He looks like he's surpassed Caffey, and that loss looks like an outlier. And Dupre, you would favor him there. And they probably wrestled from
Dupre and Caffey?
No, Dean and Dupre. Let me look it up.
I don't remember them competing this year.
Yeah,
he lost in the past.
Yeah, well, no, not this year. I know they split, so it was a sudden victory for Lou and a 4-1 for Max. So they've wrestled each other. Tough match. So
who are Lou's losses to this year?
Dupre's. He's not been as good. He's actually just kidding. He's 26-3. That's quite salty. He lost to Elam.
I'm gonna tell you.
He lost to Panola and he lost to Schultz. So Panola's the bad.
Honestly, he should be a little higher then.
Maybe.
One bad loss.
I mean, number 7, Rocky Elam. He's right behind Elam, who beat him.
Okay.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. Win over Trumbull, lost to Elam, win over Pence, win over Stout again, lost to Panola, lost to him. Yeah, okay, he's where he should be.
Yeah. So on the one hand, Dean's going to have someone that beat him in the past in this quarter. On the other hand, I don't know. Now his semi for
I really hate the quarter on the bottom though.
Nino Brucky,
Buchanan, Elam. No, Buchanan, Elam, and Bastida are all like in the same quarter.
I know they can't go on a run. They're going to beat each other up. But that's what we knew that would happen somewhere in these brackets, and we're gonna have a Bolsick Schultz round 2.
I kind of like Warner's spot.
I do too.
the Northern Colorado kid, and then Panola, I don't think he's ever lost to, or Pence, and Pence is hurt, so it's likely going to be Panola. Then obviously he's going to have a tough quarter because he's never beaten Schultz, but he's the 6th, so he's got to have a tough quarter.
Exactly. And then, so yeah, what you were saying, Elam, Bastida, probably round 3 in the second round, which is nuts.
That sucks.
And then winner gets Buchanan or Trumbull, but probably Buchanan, we think. Although seeing 2 seeds lose has happened before. So yeah, for Buchanan, you know, sometimes the 2 seeds like pretty rough, and I think it's similar here. Like Trumbull's a really good 15. Stout is a really big, strong athlete. Then you've got Elam or Bastida, who've been right there.
So I mean, and maybe it's just my feel, but like with, I feel like Warner getting Panola at the 11s, like he really likes that, because like I feel like Woodley at the 13 or Sloan at the 12 would be a tougher matchup for him.
That's a fact, and Panola's like big, brutish, physical hand fighter guy, and that's okay because Warner can handle that kind of a match.
If Bastida got bumped down one, it'd be a way tougher match for him.
Yeah, seriously.
I would love, if I could like magically flip those brackets for Elam, I would love to flip Bastida and Panola right now. Or Warner and Elam, one of the two.
Just for your Missouri Tiger style?
Absolutely. Tiger style, baby.
Oh, my gracious. Okay, then heavyweight. I talked about this a little bit. Missing matches was rewarded here for sure. I can't get with Kerkvliet at the 4. He should be higher than that. He beat Mason Paris twice. Mason Paris is the consensus number 2 guy coming into this year. He's only lost to Gable Stevenson losses don't count for anyone. That's not a thing that is brought up in any sort of seeding discussion. Okay, losing to Gable is nothing. So throw that out that Mason lost to him twice.
You got to bring that up. You got to bring it up.
No, I won't. So Kerkvliet's only losses are to Cassiope, okay, who's the rightful. I mean, I think Cassiope could be the 2, honestly. And I think Kerkvliet should be the 3, and I think Schultz should be the 4, because Schultz doesn't have a win that is as good as Kerkvliet's 2 wins over Mason Paris. Also, Arizona State and Penn State wrestled, but the coaches did not wrestle Colton Schultz against Greg Kerkvliet. They are rewarded. That's annoying, and it is being rewarded. Colton gets the 2. I mean, it's brilliant. Look, it worked. They're playing chess out here, being strategic, and it did work for Colton. He is the 2, and now.
I would love to flip Hendrickson and Wood also. P.S.
Sure, but let's stay on the. Trying to stay on.
No, because you're just right. So it's like it's not even fun to talk about because it's just so obvious.
It's like, very obvious.
No, I'm not gonna argue with you. You're right. It's easy. Yeah.
Well, and Mason totally at the 7, it's like, man, Mason's lost to one guy really, other than Gable, the Kerkvliet, and now he's the 7. Like, he's undefeated against Schultz. He's undefeated against Cassiope. Cassiope last year beat Schultz twice. There's nothing that says that Schultz has surpassed these guys.
Do you hate it if you're Michigan right now?
No, you love it.
You kind of love it.
You love it. It's great. I mean, 6 would be great to get Cassiope. I mean, but no, I mean
Cassiope,
because you've always beaten Cassiope. I think you love it, and you know, if Mason makes the finals here, and I crunched it real quick, if Mason makes the finals and Max Dean gets 3rd, based on projections, Penn State wins. Is up by half a point. So that's a very subtle thing that could happen that could twist it. Now, Schultz versus Paris, that could be. We could have seen that here in Austin, but Colton did not wrestle.
Damn coronavirus! Hey, the coronavirus went away in the last couple weeks. I don't know if you noticed.
It
disappeared, gone, gone,
but not forgotten.
We don't ever have to discuss it. Well, except on planes, you still got to wear your mask on planes.
Very dangerous on the planes.
Nowhere else.
So yeah, I didn't like how they did this here, and for Penn State, it could have I think the seeds were pretty painful for Penn State in some aspects. So Hey, we got to heavyweight, and we've got a special guest who.
We do. You didn't tell me we had a special guest.
Yeah, I did in the tweet at least that. I think I told you somewhere. It's David Bray. He's reporting live from Hershey, Pennsylvania, Chocolate Town, USA. David, what's up at PIAA's?
Hey, I'm just happy to be in the category of special guest. I feel very honored. PIAA's, we just got kicked off a little over an hour. Good action already, but so the AA division is going on this morning. AAA starts this afternoon. Ton of good action. AAA's a little deeper than AA, but we're going to see the PIAA return of Ryan Crookham here in probably the next hour or so.
Okay, well, everyone's got their eyes on Ryan Crookham. He has been hurt for a while. Give us, David, maybe the one weight that wrestling fans, if you haven't been following high school or PIAA very closely, what's the best weight at PIAA's?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are a handful that are pretty good. If you can only watch one, I'm gonna give you a choice. You're gonna choose between AAA 113 or AAA 132. But if I can only pick one, I'm gonna go 113. We've got number 5 Zach Jacaruso, number 6 Tahir Parkins, and number 16 Kale Mazdio, in addition to a bunch of other really good guys.
Oh man, Hershey internet is not good. Kick him off, Tyler. Sorry, David. We tried. Didn't work. But yeah, PIAA starting today, which is crazy. Excited for that. He's there. JD's there. I think we got some other people on the ground in Chocolate Town. Very, very awesome state tournament. Okay, back to our regulars. That was a 1-minute guest. One of our shorter guests ever. But you know what? High impact. Only Johnny from Roanoke had less airtime than David Bray.
Oh, great callback. All right, we have some questions because we haven't done questions. I feel we haven't done questions in like 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, I think we had some last week, but we did not. We've been busy. You're Jordan on Tuesday. We had Shane on Wednesday, and now it's you and I. So, does Penn State have a lock to win an individual title? It's a good question.
An individual title.
They don't have a next topic, in my opinion, for sure.
They don't have a next topic. Nope.
I would say their most likely champ, I would have to say, is Nick Lee. Would you agree with that?
I think Staraki's number 1.
Yeah, man. They have a lot of guys I think are going to win NCAAs, to be honest with you.
I think Staraki and Nick Lee win for sure. I don't know.
Here's why I say Nick.
Probably Aaron Brooks.
Here's why I say Nick Lee.
I think Dayton's going to win, though.
I think Dayton's going to win, too.
Okay.
Wait, did you say Dayton or Dean?
Dayton.
Yeah. Dayton Dwayne Fix is my pick at 133. He has been all year.
Dean's kind of set up pretty nice too.
I think he's got a good setup. Here's my thing with Nick Lee and why I think it's him. This guy, his path to the finals is a lot more advantageous, in my opinion, than Starachi's. Starachi is going to have a really tough semi. I don't think Nick Lee's going to have that. 2. We know for a fact Nick Lee's best competition is injured. Sebastian Rivera and Jaden Ironman are unquestionably hurt to the degree of which we don't know. But they are hurt. They both forfeited out of their conference tournament, and those are the only 2 guys I think we are even given a remote shot at beating Nick Lee. And they're already underdogs, and also they're hurt. And he only has to beat one of them. He cannot wrestle them both. So it's Nick Lee.
I agree. Nick Lee more than Carter Staraki.
More than Carter, who have a tough one. I still will probably pick Brooks to win NCAAs, but after
I'll probably pick Brooks still.
Yeah.
Not a lock. He just lost. Okay, good question from FRL listener. Okay, I want to ask this one so bad. Folk style is better than freestyle. Ouch. He says, at Ben Askren, what was Austin Gomez doing that allowed him to finish on Sasso when so many other high-level wrestlers can't? Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything technical, so he just must be really powerful. I mean, that's kind of something that...
It's that simple? Power?
Well, that's something one of my old coaches taught me, Sean Charles. He said, man, especially when you're watching film these foreign dudes, like if it don't look like anything special, if it looks like, damn, how they finish that, they're just really, really freaking strong. And so, I mean, when I watched that, there was nothing really different that he was doing from a technical standpoint. I think he's probably just really powerful. That'd be my guess. I haven't wrestled with him, so I can't tell you. Well, I mean, point to a technical difference.
I don't know.
Yes, he was doing what he was supposed to be doing, but it was just like usually doing what you're supposed to be doing doesn't get you a takedown against Sammy Sasso in those positions.
Yeah, well, for one, it was all head outside, and it wasn't fast, right?
I thought the second one was head inside. Is there a clip on YouTube that we bring up or no?
I don't know if there's a clip on YouTube. I'm looking at the first takedown.
Where are you watching it right now? Big Ten?
I have it. My Hulu thing.
Damn. You should have prepared me. I could have been there.
Well, there was in the doc.
Screen share.
No.
Every match, championship round match. Okay, well here, this is every championship round match. I should be able to find it real quick.
The other one was just like a double leg.
It was a low double. Low doubles are the best shot against scramblers. Let's see. Okay.
No, it wasn't. Boom. It actually wasn't. He finished double. He shot head inside and finished head outside on the second one.
Okay. Let me I'm trying to bring him up quick here. Yeah.
He had a third takedown.
No,
right?
I think it's literally just he's super strong. I mean, I think that's the thing in wrestling, guys. I mean, it helps. Being strong freaking helps big time.
All his finishes were head outside. I think that's got to be that's got to be mentioned. Sammy is most dangerous head inside. All three finishes came head outside.
I feel like Sammy's really good head outside generally also. I mean, it's not like he gets taken down a whole bunch.
I think there's a difference in his scrambles. Head inside. He tries to – I feel like – listen, I'm not the scrambler, but I feel like he tries to feed everything head inside. And if you get head outside, he's trying to move it inside so that he can work.
Okay, head outside. Yeah, I mean, but to get this foot off the ground, because Sasso's in good position, and I'm watching the first one. He's in good position. So for Austin to get his foot off the ground there, you do have to be pretty powerful. He's in good position. He's doing the right techniques, but he's also pretty strong.
Yet another example of don't cut weight, just get big. Get big, be strong.
Yeah.
Be your strongest self. But yeah, when he got the high crotch shelf there.
I'm almost to this other one. Okay. All right. Boom. Yeah, honestly, he just got strong on it. There's not really
get strong on him.
There.
That sounds like the Shenandoah Valley corner.
I mean, that's part of wrestling, guys, for sure. Yeah, there was nothing like unique or different totally.
Okay. How did from FRLQ Asker, Dean, how did Penn State go from the highest scoring top position team in the country to the highest stalling top position team in the country?
This is a good question.
Well, I would say the wrestlers they recruited, this is how they wrestle on top, whereas Jason Nolf and Zane and David Taylor were turners when they got to Penn State, and then they were leveled up from that perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Although Zane wasn't really.
Zane was not a turner in the beginning. He was a rider. He was a clingy little backpack, but he didn't turn a lot of dudes.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And I didn't watch these guys in high school, so I think, but obviously David Taylor was well known that he was a great turner.
Ed Ruth always had the cradle.
Be the same thing. Ruth had the cradle. Yeah. So, but these dudes, they can't turn nobody. So, I mean, if there's a vulnerability in Penn State this week, it's because they're not scoring. I mean, if this was the teams 10 years ago, those top five would be scoring about, I don't know, 25 bonus points.
Yeah.
Bonus, right? And this current crop, I don't know, they maybe 10, 12, maybe.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Their bonus points were adding like another national champion's worth of points.
Yeah.
Which is
maybe 23 or 25 is low because like David Taylor was getting 7 or 8 himself usually, and Ruth was getting something similar. Yeah, you were racking it up.
He had David Taylor had 9.5 bonus points his sophomore year.
Yeah.
4 pins and a tech. 9.5 bonus points is like what you get for like 4th or 5th place. So basically he got a 1st and a 5th place with his one tournament. Yeah, we should probably go back and look at some of those. But yeah, how I don't know. I think it's also the trend in wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some obviously great top workers, but those guys were all kind of all-time turners, right?
Exactly.
All on the same team.
Next question. It's about top as well. The evolution of the top position. How has it changed over the past 20 years? Has it changed at all? Or are wrestlers being coached for control instead of scoring? Is near fall less common in top 10 matchups?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that for sure. I mean, I know there was the period like right around me, right after me was atrocious because the trend got to be like drop on their leg and shelf it, and it was so bad. It was so bad, so much stalling, and so it has the trend. I don't know. I would love to see a chart of like percentage of pins or percentage of back points. You know, they tried to obviously go from a 3-point near fall to a 4-point near fall in order to incentivize turning more. I don't know from a historical context. It's hard to say. My guess would be it's not really that much different, but I don't know for sure.
Do you think Iowa will outperform their seeds despite Ben's analytics? Not saying they win, just outperform their seeds.
Let me see.
So Ayala is the 13.
They got lucky at 33.
So
because if he was 3, he wouldn't. But at 5, he probably will.
Correct. I agree with that. I would say 25, they have a good chance.
Coin flip.
But we're talking about the 13, so it's not like a major impact if you get top 12. If DeSanto could, yes. 41 probably hold is probably best case scenario there.
It's coin flip because he could lose to Sebastian also, and then he wouldn't be a 2.
Correct.
49.
8's about right.
Probably. Yeah, that's about right.
I could see him. I could see him going with the SoCon guys, Campbell and Milner, and maybe picking one of those guys off. But
a little higher. I feel like Caleb Young's gonna. I don't think he's gonna All-American from there.
No, not the way he looked at Big Tens. Not likely. So but he's not. If he loses in the round of 12, then he basically wrestles to seed. 65 Bull. I feel good about him wrestling. Well, I think he could outperform. If he makes the finals, he's outperformed his seed. But if he loses in the semis, then you get Ben's scenario potentially playing out.
Which he does underperform.
I think Kimmer.
So that would be my scenario. He loses to Keegan, then he loses to Hamidi in the Conci wrestleback, or Griffith potentially.
I think Kimmer is about right. I think he could make the finals. I think he could be 5th.
But he could also injury default out.
That's a concern. That's a concern.
Yeah.
84, Assad's the 18. That's about right. 97, Warner 6, about right. Cassiope 3rd. He could be 4th.
But that's the problem is going into NCAAs, you're always thinking that's about right. You know, like that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And then. You know, and then obviously one or two. I mean, because what happens is if 1 or 2, it's not all of them underperforming. It's 1 or 2 going way below, right? That's the issue. You know, a Marinelli at a 1 and then DNPing or something like that. You know,
exactly.
So it only takes 1 or 2 of them to go way low, and then that skews the graphic. But also that's the points, right? You go from someone who should get 15 points to someone who should get 2 points, and that's a gigantic move.
Yes, huge move.
Yeah.
From Wick Jacoby, okay, Pyle, aka number 1 Mizzou hater. Precedes show only 2 Mizzou AAs. I'm sure you would love this, but the disrespect is real given conferences. What's the real over under for hashtag Tiger Style? Well, Wick,
don't think so.
It's funny because they had a really tough schedule this year. So what happens? Their seeds got a lot tougher. That's the way it works, Wick. And 2, I think they could get more. I mean, Keegan's a lock to place.
Hart and Mako are the next possibles.
Well, I would say Elam.
I'm sorry. So Keegan and Elam are there. So I was throwing out the ones that were seeded to All-American.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it might just be 2. I mean, those guys are going to have to better wrestle. Mako?
This is another one where it's like they're a much better conference team. And we talk about, some people don't understand the difference between a conference tournament and a nationals, right? Because Mizzou kind of has 10 pretty damn solid guys who even, Big 12's not the toughest conference tournament, it's the second one. They're going to all place pretty high, So you get Elam at third, Kent at second, Mako at second, Peyton, Keegan at first. Like all these guys are going to be pretty high. But then you go to the nationals, and they don't have very many guys that can make the finals. I mean, honestly, if Elam could beat Bastida, I think he's got a chance to make the finals when you look at his path. But he's got to beat Bastida, and we don't know if he could do that because he's lost to him twice in a row now. Who else is going to place in the top 3? Like nobody, So,
yeah, I would say two is right. I would say if you're setting the over/under for All-Americans, I'd say it's probably 1.5. And Elam will either place or he won't, because Elam's going to have a very tough second-round match, and that's going to make it, he's no gimme to place. So we'll see. Yeah. It's up to them to do it.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Do we think Carson Karchley is struggling with a weight cut and would be stronger up a weight? So I remember. So there was a ton of chatter about Carson wanting to go 74, like a couple years ago. Going into like not this season, but the season before, after Reggio, everyone was like, he wants to go up. He's beating these guys, and he doesn't want to cut down.
I thought he made Ethan Smith go up.
Well, technically, in a way, he did, but it sounded like they really liked him at 65 and I think their preference was Carson at 65 and Smith at 74. I don't know. My answer is I don't know, but I'm just seeing your question makes me remember this. The discussion was, well, he kind of wants to go up. So I don't know. I think he looks like a reasonably sized 65. He's not particularly tall. He's a very thick, strong-looking guy, kind of a NATO type of build, but I don't know.
Yeah. And then I think gas tank's not his strong suit. So, a committee got him really tired, and that's it's going to happen sometimes.
That will happen sometimes. I think Carson, for whatever it's worth, I think he probably needs to stay where he's at, because next year they're going to bring in Gallagher at 57. They got to get someone else at 57, and then 65, and because they return everyone. Ethan Smith's back. Caleb Romero's back. So you're going to want to hold there. You're going to want to wrestle kind of a similar lineup while you insert your...
Gavin Hoffman's back.
Hoffman's back, exactly. Rocky Jordan's back, if he can get into the lineup somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, good show.
Oh, we're quitting? You giving up already?
You see? Oh no, we got to ask this one. Who do you think had the crazier house growing up, Brands or Hidley? I think it's easy.
Oh, really? Why?
The Brands. Those two guys, they were literally fighting. I mean, listen, Trent Hidley he's bananas, but like Hayden's a pretty like reasonable, measured guy.
Yeah.
I think Trent is just a wild card.
Different when there's age gap, also.
What do you mean?
Because with age gap, like with my kids, the older one picks on the younger one, and I'm like, hey, you're being a butt face, knock it off. Stop picking on your little sister, But if they're equal age, if they're the same age, then it's like, you can't say to one the other, like, hey, stop picking on your younger. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even know how to handle. I don't have twins. I don't know how to handle that.
They're just smashing each other through walls and stuff.
Just fight to the death.
Yeah. Trent does add a lot of energy to it. Okay.
But then it's like, if you're the older brother, then it's like, and listen, Max and I fought plenty, but I feel like there's still some responsibility to be more mature, and the younger one's allowed to get away with a little more stuff because they're the younger brother.
Yeah, this was my problem. I was just not. I was not a good older brother to my middle brother, Weston. We fought a lot. It's not good.
Oh man,
not good behavior.
Jeez, bad. Not a good guy. Let me make sure there's no other good. Bad guy.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any other really good questions.
Yeah, but we kind of hit on this one about power ranking the weights. Most likely the 1 seed wins. So yeah, let's go. We're gonna beat it.
Let's do it.
Thanks so much for listening. Fun show.
Peace.
We'll be back Monday Don't you forget it, Ben.
Oh, shoot, we're Monday. I almost forgot it. I need to write that down somewhere. Put it on my
remember
calendar.
to not forget that we have the show on Monday.
So we're Monday. No show Tuesday.
Then Wednesday, Thursday.
I'll be on the show because I'm flying to Detroit on Wednesday. Thursday, we're in person on Thursday? We're in person?
We'll figure it out, yeah.
Where? At the arena?
TDB.
At your house? Whose house?
At my house, yeah.
On the streets? Are we on the streets?
Streets of the D. It's cold in the D.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Check y'all later. Thank you. Bye.